And then just some final thoughts from me, and I'll try to keep it somewhat brief, not soapboxy, but we appreciate all the work you do. And I've been thinking about this a lot lately. I had an opportunity to go to the Howell Rotary for their celebration of the Tour to Livingston. And to be in that room with Rotarians who always have an energy. You know, I see Mike Murphy, he's an active Rotarian. There's a lot of people here. But to be in that room and feel the energy of Rotary and layering it on to United Way, you get this real positive boost, right? And you feel really good about it. And you see that there's a lot of people doing a lot of things. And that when you combine efforts, you know, one of us can give $50 or $500 or even $5,000, and that does something, right? But when we pull people together, when Pete Lindau gets an idea about Day of Caring or Rotary Raiders, and he takes that idea and he gets Brian, and Brian, they get together, and they don't just say, well, what can we do, and just build a little thing. Let's get an army of people to show up on a Saturday or a Tuesday and like go after this thing and attack it. What you get is something bigger than any one person could ever do. And that's what this room represents, and that's what we see. And there's times, though, that at least it feels like, and maybe it's just me, that I'm disconnected from it. You make a donation on your phone, right? Like 4 buttons later, and $100 goes to someone, and it's kind of like, and I forget like what it really means, and then I get reminded in Livingston County of certain things. Christy, that I work with, was talking about how her son's in a robotics club, and the robotics club invited them to go do something with Meals on Wheels, which is something that the Hunger Council really supports. And the Hunger Council was started as a coalition across all these groups, pulling together OLSHA and Gleaners and all these different groups to work together to stamp out hunger. But so I think about Livingston County, we have robotics clubs for kids. I don't remember those being around when I was young, but so assets, things that kids can get involved in. And then they're pulling them into a service group. And then Christy and her family are going out and giving blizzard boxes before the blizzard comes, because I'm the guy that when the 13 inches of snow hits the driveway, I think I wish I had milk, you know, and juice in the fridge, right? But so they're doing it in advance, and she's taking her kids out. And so now what you have, I think about like this unbroken chain, right? You've got a family with interest and a passion and an opportunity, and then they're going out and seeing people who might not be able to get out and delivering in advance of the issue hitting. It's the upstream thing that we're trying to do with the Livingston County United Way in this community. Certainly we need Meals on Wheels. Certainly we need to feed people and have food pantries, and we need to have Livingston Promise and all of these things. We also need to go upstream and work on changing the systems and the structure so less people need it downstream. And that's what we're working on. That's the stuff that sometimes doesn't get seen and doesn't always feel immediately beneficial, doesn't have the gratitude of providing someone who needs food in that moment. And so that's what I think about. I think about when 2 young kids, 5 and 4, and they're smarter than me already. And I think about they go to this great preschool, First Steps, and when I get home, they tell me about the things that they learned that I don't even know. And I can teach them. But then I realize, like, there's 50 kids at least in this county that may not get to preschool at 3 years old because there aren't maybe spots or we don't have the money. And I think we set them back, and we may not notice it. We notice it with school ready when they hit the schools, but we notice it down the road. It's someone that may not need the eviction diversion. They may not need some of these things that we have, which would be great if we didn't have the need, but we do. So we'll never stop doing the programs. We're never going to stray from supporting the immediate needs, the La Casa, domestic, working against domestic violence and abuse, working to solve the food problem, but we're also working to go upstream. So a couple other things. I had a chance, we had as a board had a chance to visit Livingston Catholic Charities, Be Our Guest Adult Day Service, and there's seniors there that are having recreation and social time and food and gardening, and it's great for those people that need that. But I also think about on the back end, there are adult children that might be primary caregivers that get a break, or there might be a spouse that really is caring all day, tirelessly, and now gets a chance to go shopping or just have quiet time. And so again, it's not just helping that one person, it's helping a whole chain or a whole community. This transportation issue, if we're able to do something with it, can really solve the ability, help the employers get more staff, help people who maybe can't afford their own transportation, and make it a community where we've got great employers, great employees, and working together. So, you see things like Dunnage Engineering. That's a role model because you have a business that's been successful but cares and gives back, and the employees get on board. And again, it creates more than any one of us could. I'll shut up in 1 minute here, I promise. Day of Caring. If you participate in a Day of Caring, you go out and you do this project for half a day, and you realize there's 100 of those projects going on. I sometimes wish I could be above it and seeing 100 projects at one time. And sometimes it gets a little overwhelming because you think next year there'll be 100 more, and the year after there'll be 100 more, and we might have to say no. And we don't want to have to say no. But think about the energy and the impact of a single day and what it does. And sometimes it gets overwhelming, but the reality I'm left with is I look around and I say little by little, bit by bit, dollar. We were talking yesterday, no gift too small, no investment too small, $1, 1 hour, 15 minutes, whatever is little by little, bit by bit, we change the structure in the system, and that's what makes Livingston County a great place to live, to work, to play, to raise a family, to retire, to ultimately, one of my life goals is to be somebody that makes it on one of these things, right? And to be amongst these people. One of my goals is to have to go to be our best adult daycare, right? To live long enough and be fortunate enough to use that someday, right? That's the full circle. It's a joke, but it's real, right? I want to be like Shirley when I grow up and be on the board when I'm still working and doing that in the 70s. So it's a great place to live. We have a lot of role models, and what I want to just encourage, and I know for me I lose sight of it, but for all of us, is that it's real, it's tangible. The dollars we give and the time we give manifests itself in people's lives in a very direct and specific way. It's not just something we do on our phone. It's something that allows someone to stay in their house. It allows some kids to go to preschool that otherwise wouldn't get to go. It allows kids to get through school. It allows them to have a bridge. It allows them to be successful in their careers and ultimately to have families. And so I'm honored to live in this community. I'm honored to work with all of you, and I look forward to what we can do over many years to come. Thank you very much. Again, one final congratulations to all of our award winners and their families. We know that it takes a team effort, it takes a village, and so we're proud of all of you. And with that, we'll get you back to your day jobs, and we'll ask for a motion to adjourn the meeting. Thank you very much, and we look forward to seeing you next year. Thank you very much.